Okay, today we're going to look at that photo of Fernie in the woods and do some editing on him. So let's begin. We're in Photoshop CC 2018. The picture is up on your screen. Looks like this. You can grab a corner and expand it, make it larger, whatever you need to do. So the first thing we're going to do is make a copy of this. So come over to your layers. And by the way, if you don't have layers open, go up to Window up here, come down, click on Layers, and make sure your toolbox is open too, which is, I just closed it, let's reopen it. There it is, Tools. That's this item here with all your tools. Here's your layers. Let's also pull up history. So in case we need to go to history, we can do that. And we'll move that over here. So coming over to layers, we're here, we're going to duplicate this picture, this entry of Fernie in the woods so that we can work on a duplicate. And what we'll do is just simply drag this down to this, what looks like a page or a file, and it opens up a copy. So now we have the original and we have the copy, and we're going to work on the copy. Because in the event that we damage or do something wrong in our copy, we always have the original that we can go back to. And any changes that we make in the copy will not affect the original version. So a copy is the way we want to go. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is let's do a basic crop on this. I see a lot of dead area in here that I'd like to change. Some of this around here, down in here, we'll take care of the leash. The other thing that we need to work on is going to be the lighting. Notice how much brighter the branch of the tree is versus our Fernie here. And Fernie is the center of all of our interests. So remember, the rule of light is that our eyes go to where it's brightest. So most people looking at this would first see this, and secondly, Fernie. So we want to change that around. So let's start with the edit. So grab your editing tool, your crop tool. There we go. And let's do a little crop on this. Oop. Little crop there, little crop here. And we're going to put Fernie, rather than putting him in the center this way, let's get him over to the side a little bit, more like this. Or over here, so that he's in the crosshairs rather than the center. I like this position pretty much. So let's see what we've got here. Once you have that, click enter, and that's the shot we have. So we can expand it by hitting the command and the plus key so that we know we can see a larger area that we're going to work on. And our frame, our canvas, can be stretched out. So there we are. This is the picture we're going to go with. We're going to deal with this up here in a minute, and this right down here, this is where we're going to start. So let's grab our filter and go to a camera raw. And here's all of our tools here for camera raw. Let's just begin to play. The color, I think, is pretty well balanced. We don't need to adjust with that. We don't want to go into monochrome, which is black and white. And this browse opens up some rather interesting presets that can be used that we'll talk about later on. So come out of that. And oops, camera raw. There we go. Let's temperature. Do we want to change the temperature? Maybe warm it up just a little bit. Move it into the yellows. Remember, as you move to the right, you're warming it up, you're moving into the yellows. Blues, keep it into the cool tones. Then we want to keep it a little warmer. Fernie's a warm kind of a dog. And exposure, where are we with that? Probably there. Contrast a little bit. Notice none of these are extreme in what we're doing. Let's take the yellow down a little bit. Just a little bit. +8, okay. Highlights, remember, highlights come to the left and shadows go to the right just a little bit. +20, 21, 16 in that area there. Whites, hit your Alt key on your computer board Move it to the right until you begin to see the whites of the image. I bring it back down. This makes sure that we're going to control the whites so they're not going to blow out. Same with the blacks, just a little bit of black though. That's that area back in here. Look at it again. See? Here and here. We need that for a little bit of contrast. Add a little clarity. Watch what happens. See that? It popped right up. Now, dehaze, interesting. It adjusts the midtones, so it adds a little bit of punch. Let's come back up here to exposure a little bit. Okay, vibrance a little bit and saturation. Good. Let's take care of our whites here. The blowouts on the branch here. So we're going to go. Let's reset the brush. We're going to pull the exposure down just a little bit. Widen the brush using our bracket keys and begin to brush some darkness into that. Make those changes. You can come back up and do it once again. Oops, went into the grass there. Okay, that works. Now let's take care of Madame Paddle. So we'll grab a new brush over here. Let's move this up just a little bit. And we'll brush gently. I like that, maybe a little bit more. Okay, that little yellow to Fernie, not much. He's a white dog. Little contrast, little clarity. Good. Got this branch over here. Let's add some shadow streaks on that a little bit more. See that? And all I'm doing, I'm just doing a quick, like a brush on it. All right, let's take care of some other things. Come up here to the graduated filter at the very top, the second one in, and pull it up here from down here. There we go. Now remember, this graduates from the top down to the bottom. So as we then now change our exposure, we darken the areas here and it graduates down to being what our shot is. We can also do the same thing with the bottom. Come back up, about like that. Let's bring the bottom up. And remember, hold your shift key if you want, and that keeps it steady. If you take not holding the shift key, it has this mobility to it. So if you want a nice even line, do that. Let's come up a little bit like this. Oops, hold the shift key and drop the exposure down. This is nice, we've got him framed. Click OK. Good. So now we've moved into Photoshop from Camera Raw. We moved into Photoshop. So now what are we going to do? Well, several things. Notice we are in Photoshop. Here's our layers. These are the things that we've done. We have a smart filter, and we'll talk about that another time. Here's what we're working on. So let's add a little more pizzazz to this. Go to your eyeball down here, click on levels. Level screen comes up. You got your extreme dark down here, midtones, which is what we're going to move up, and brights, and we're going to move that towards the center. So notice the amount of concentration it gave to that. Good. So that's a basic redo of the FERNI photo. It looks pretty good. Let's do one more thing. Come up to filter, since we're in Photoshop, come up to filter, down to sharpen, filter sharpen, then down to unsharp mask. Oops. We need to be down here on the copy, the FERNI copy. So filter, sharpen, unsharp mask. There he is. And you can probably move this into the area of about 80. That might be a little bit much. What you have to be careful of when you're sharpening is that you get too much grain. But we'll go about like that, about 63. Okay? So there we are, the basic edit for Fernie. All right, let's take a look and see what we have for the original recording or the original picture. We'll go back to Photoshop and the copy. So here's our edited copy. There's the original. Quite a bit of difference. It's just some simple movement of sliders and the use of our tools. Enjoy. Let's see what you come up with.